friends. Welcome to our little show called Comedycrashlanding. And this show, it's a talk show where we have local comedians stop by and just crash and hang out for a while and relax and talk showbiz with us. And my name's Doug Glidden. I'm your host. And as usual, I have with me my sidekick, Matthew Ravenscroft.
Sidekick this week.
Sidekick,
hey, friends.
Co-host. Now, this is a special edition. This is our season finale. So we've pulled out all the stops for this show. And apparently all our stops we're stopping were plants because that's all that we have. I think we need more things for our stops to stop. We should probably work on that over the season break. But I think this is, what, our 10th show?
Yeah, I think so.
It's been about a year.
I think set design is a major feature of our show every time.
Yeah, our set design, that's what we spend the most time on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Picking out which plant.
Yeah, rather than preparing a better show, we typically spend a lot of time.
Opening bit.
A better opening bit.
Why have an opening bit when you can have the plants do the talking?
Absolutely. Let the greenery do the talking.
And with us today is our very special guest. This is an A-list guest, one of our best one. He's appeared on Comedy Central's Live at the Gotham. He's finalist in season 8 of Last Comic Standing.
That's me.
He's a regular on the Bomb and Tob nationally syndicated radio show, and he was voted one of the top 21 comics at HBO's Las Vegas Comedy Festival.
There you go.
Let's put your hands together for David Landau.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, studio.
And thanks, studio audience, for joining us today.
This is actually our largest audience.
At least 100 people.
They each cost like $25.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not bad. I would assume more.
You get them on Craigslist. You go to the audience section.
People do anything for money.
All right, so Dave,
yes.
You started very young. You were a teenager, and you were on. You started in improv.
Yes, I was 19 when I started at Second City. Well, I started taking classes at Second City, and then I started doing stand-up when I was 20.
Oh, so
you were make it to like the feature players in Second City, or was that?
No, I made it through like the conservatory, and I mean that could have been a goal, but there's just a lot of bureaucracy in it, and there's just a lot of
politics.
Oh, there's tons of politics. So I don't know. Plus, I like stand-up more than improv, so I just
stand-up. You can do what you want.
Yeah, you're not working with a
group. You
group.
can put all the attention to you.
It's
you don't have to share it with another improv guy.
Although I do love improv because you have 4 people, 5 people to back you up if you mess up, so it's kind of exciting. It's a
or
good
laugh
thing.
At you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
At least make some comedy out of it.
Yeah, it's cool to work with a team, but there's no money in improv.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, the Second City in Detroit is gone now as of 2009, I think. So.
Well, yeah, moved to Novi, and we actually did the first show there, which is one that I wrote called Meet in the Middle.
Yeah.
Oh, you wrote the show. Eh?
Yeah.
You were like the main writer at 19.
No, I wasn't the main writer. I was one of like 5 writers, and Meet in the Middle was about the gays and straights deciding they didn't want to live together anymore in the same city, so they left and formed their own towns.
That's kind of realistic.
Yeah, like a straight guy's
Saugatuck.
Yeah, well, kind of. So like a straight guy's Subaru dealership closed, and like a gay dude couldn't keep his florist open because there was no people whose wives were mad at him. And then Meet in the Middle was just sort of a pun for anal.
Oh, of course.
and then there was
anytime you can work that in.
Exactly. And there was a whole song about it, so it was kind of fun. But the problem was there was a DJ, and the dance club was right next to the Second City, and they refused to turn it down because it made more money in the club than the theater.
Right.
So
you always got the noise.
Yeah, you just hear like coming through the wall the whole time you're trying to do a play. Nice. It sucked.
So from there, you started doing stand-up. At what point did you start? You started locally.
Yeah.
And then at what point were you traveling, or did you?
Well, did you do open mics?
Around?
Did you grind it out on open mics for several years?
Yeah, I started at I would say years, maybe 9 months. I started
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I started the Comedy Castle.
Better than most. Better than 99.9% of everybody.
Yeah. Well, I was already used to performing and writing comedy though when I started, because I had kind of a background with Second City. So when I started, I was used to it a little bit. So I started at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, and I was 9 months in when he started managing me.
Wow.
And
so he's been a big supporter of yours.
Huge supporter of me since I started. I wouldn't have a career without Mark Ridley. Yeah, absolutely. He's the best guy in comedy, in my opinion, and he was the best manager I've ever had.
Yeah.
So.
And that's still the Mark Ridley's gets all the big names of all the
Oh yeah,
touring
he's
people.
one of the
That's
most respected guys in comedy.
Yeah, he's been doing it forever.
Well, he's the first person who had a comedy club outside of L.A. and New York. It was, you know, like the Improv in New York, the Comedy Store, and Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle in Detroit. So yeah, he's the guy.
Now, wasn't he a big part of how you were on Last Comic Standing?
Yeah.
And how did that come about? Like this is much later on in the story, but you were pretty
Not really. When I
established,
first did it, I was like 2 years in, and they showcased me in the night rounds. But it's when it was owned by the one manager. I can't remember his name, Barry Katz. So it was a rigged show at the time for those people to go through.
Sure.
Yeah. So
he was like a producer of the people he wanted to win.
and they brought you in as well. He was the producer of
What
the
a
guy who wins.
coincidence.
Yeah,
He was the
okay.
agent, so he's
Right.
making all that money on top of the show.
Gotcha.
So you would come in as like tough competition and get into the night round and then never go through. So I had done the show a couple times, and a
okay.
woman named Paige and Wanda Sykes were a fan of me, so they ended up bringing me
The
back.
Wanda Sykes?
The Wanda Sykes,
Oh,
yeah. She
wow.
brought me back for season 8, which was the year she produced it.
Okay. And you made it to the semifinals that year.
I made it to the semifinals when I was kicked out for offending Roseanne.
Yeah, that's the famous string.
Oh man, if I had a
Offending
nickel for every
strand.
The
time I heard
old tampon bit.
And was Norm pretty rough? Did those guys hang out with you?
No,
at all?
I went
I
back-
imagine it was very separate. You weren't.
No,
hanging out
no,
with
I wasn't. Norm wasn't on. It was Keenan, who was a
Keenan,
hero
Oh,
of mine
okay.
because I grew up watching In Living Color. He's one of my
Absolutely,
favorite people. Roseanne, and why am I blanking? Peters,
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the
Bernadette
spot.
Indian
Peters.
fella.
I don't
I
remember.
forget his name. Funny guy.
Okay, yeah, Norm was on.
I can't think of his name though. I don't know why I'm blanking on him. Russell Peters. He's a really good dude.
Russell Peters, okay.
So yeah, they were my judges.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It all ended on the.
Did they give you lots of encouragement, like after you got kicked off? Oh,
Chris and Keenan loved me.
Yeah.
Keenan said that I think you should win the show, which meant the world to me because I'm Gonna Get You Sucker is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
It always
yeah,
has
yeah.
been. In Living Color, I watched every Sunday with my dad when I was a
Right.
kid. So yeah, it was amazing, you know. And yeah, they were cool. Well, even when Roseanne didn't get the joke and I kept making fun of her, they were dying laughing and loving it, and she just hated me the entire time.
Almost better than winning is getting that high a praise.
It really is, because everybody who hates her liked me, which turns out to
is a
be a
big
lot of
audience.
people
That's a big
who
group.
don't
Gets
like
you
her.
just as much juice as winning the show. So.
Yeah, yeah. So apparently your show's coming back, though.
Great news.
Oh, I've heard that.
Even
rumor.
though
You've
John
got the
Goodman
inside scoop.
died
Tell us.
on the show, and didn't they win the lottery for some reason?
So it's kind of hazy the last couple seasons. Kind of
It
jumped
got
the shark
really
a
bad,
little,
yeah.
Yeah. So you've been stand-up for a long time. Started in
Not the John Goodman, his character Dan
his
Connor.
character.
died.
Yes, we
But,
shouldn't start that rumor here.
Yeah.
that John Goodman is still
Oh, we
alive.
might need the
realized
publicity.
as of right
Go
now.
ahead.
Oh,
We
There's
could
at
use
least
the
two
viral hit.
people Googling
knock on
that.
wood.
Yeah, John Goodman's all good, I think. He's a good, he's
Hopefully.
good, man.
As of the, I hope in the time this is posted.
Yeah, however
that
that
would be
be.
so horrible.
If he dies tonight, and then we're saying how alive
They'd be
he
very
is.
suspicious of you.
Oh, I was hanging out with him yesterday.
Yeah, no, we know. He's good.
So you've done a lot of writing too, and you talk about
Yeah.
how you're writing. One thing we watched recently, The King.
Oh, okay.
Which is a movie.
A movie,
Yes. Dave
feature-length
produced.
movie.
Did.
Produced and
And
written
starred
by you.
in.
And I wrote it. I wouldn't say starred. I had a
Yeah.
cameo.
Featured as Crispy Jones.
Crispy Jones, the
And
Juggalo.
if you want to see a picture of him, he's prominently featured on your IMDb page.
Yeah, I put that picture
You-
up with
you did?
me
That's
holding
excellent.
Do you have t-shirts? That'd be a
the
dope
22.
t-shirt.
That
I
would be an
should.
excellent T-shirt.
I think I still have the blood-soaked jersey from the movie,
I know that was excellent.
which I don't want to give that up, but yeah.
That was like the best special effect. He gets Crispy. If
I
you
get
haven't
shot
seen
in the
movie,
neck.
gets shot in the
Yeah.
neck, and it's so realistic. He's stumbling down the stairs.
Yeah.
And the blood is so beautiful and perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a gratuitous blood.
It's pointless.
Squibbing, like there's a massive amount of blood. It's pouring
It's a
down
really
the wall.
long
and,
scene too.
Well, we filmed it in a drug house that was going to be burnt down.
Right.
And I knew a couple people, and they were like, "Yeah, you can come use it." And I guess
You
they
knew a couple people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and
Okay.
we we filmed the scene, and it was just blood pouring out. It was a dude behind me, and later it was whatever they do with computers.
Was that an Evil Dead guy you said?
Yeah. And he was squirting
From
the
that
blood
special
just
effect?
everywhere, you know, and it was all over the house. Then I'm laying in a pool of blood. And I guess after they decided to sell the house or like the bank, and the people walked in, and it just looked like blood everywhere. It was just like
in a noted drug
movie was
neighborhood.
shot
yeah. Oh, it wasn't a terrible. We were standing outside. It's me and 2 other gang members, and we're all holding AK-47s and 22s.
But you're
And
dressed
there's
like a
little girls
clown.
on bikes, like, "Hey guys," and we're like, "She doesn't even care."
She's not even phased by it.
not the strangest thing she
Yeah,
saw.
that's
That
Not
night.
the weirdest
even that
thing at
day,
all.
yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah.
So, sort of a coming-of-age tale, The King. I couldn't recommend it more.
Thank you.
You wrote it, you produced it, low-budget film, but still
$7,000, yeah.
$7,000.
Is that a GoFundMe?
produced.
Is that how you got the? or was
Yeah,
that
we
you
did
funded
some
you?
fund crap when people
Yeah.
used to care.
People just don't care anymore. Damn it.
They really, well, because everybody funds everything now. And then
Yeah,
celebrities.
It's saturated.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have celebrities that are like, "Can you send me
Zach
money?"
Braff wants
Yeah,
to
it's
do
like
it
you have
that
millions
way.
of dollars.
Yeah.
Right.
Make your movie. I had we got like $4,000 online, I think, was all we set the goal at, and then I put in $3,000.
And a real short shooting schedule, right? So you had to get it done pretty quick.
We shot it in 13 and a half days for $7,000 nonstop.
13 days.
Through the nights,
So
through the
in
days.
less than a fortnight, you put together.
We call it a fortnight.
Yeah. In less than a fortnight, you put together a feature-length movie that has some, what I would call some good acting, some
Thank you.
excellent jokes,
Thank you.
and some very funny scenes in it.
Thank you.
I would definitely recommend
And
it.
Bill Bushard as a cop, which he does
Bill
really
is a cop
well.
in that. He is a corrupt
He's-
police
he's
officer in that
excellent.
movie.
That was-
Yep.
There's some recurring characters that are just great. Cast Iron is a guy.
Cast
yeah.
Iron's the guy
Yeah.
who. Well, that's a true prison story.
Right.
The guy who tells the story in the movie.
Be careful.
Oh yeah. Well, let's just say
We should also
he
caveat,
knocked
that
he
this is not
knocked
for
a dude
children.
out in jail
Yeah.
and then pleasured him while he was unconscious. We
Yeah.
can say that, right?
I'll check the manual. That might not be in there.
And
We're gonna review it.
I might have to go to a committee or board for
The
that
guy
one.
just watched a dude do this, and the dude's name was Scrap Iron in real life, and he knocked a dude out and pleasured him, and he said that was the baddest thing he ever saw in prison. It is gangster when you think about it.
so
It was all because he was showing off. He didn't like people
Yeah, he
showing
did,
off.
and that was the true thing. The dude was talking about how he used to make tons of money off of cocaine, and the dude just clocked him in the face and went down on
showing
him.
off.
So bragging in front of this guy results in
That's not what
that
you do.
type of treatment.
You get. I mean, it depends what you're into. It could be a good thing, but you do get knocked out.
You do get knocked out.
But
So
yeah,
it doesn't even matter if it's a good thing.
And that wasn't even written into the script. The guy just told me the story, and I was like, "Would you just tell that on film?" And he's like, "Yeah, all right."
The guy behind the counter.
Yeah, the guy behind
He
the
just
counter.
totally-
That was him actually at work, and then we made the gas station CGI around him.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
my
very
buddy, he did a lot of different movies for Clint Eastwood Studio,
Okay.
including like Hereafter and a few
Also,
other
you were
ones.
doing it at the time when all the people were getting the tax breaks.
Yeah,
there
and
were
he
people
had all the
around.
equipment to do all this stuff, so we were lucky because we had access to really expensive equipment
Yeah.
that we could just do all this stuff on. So we were lucky to have some really great effects in there, like you said, for almost no money.
Sure. Made in 2014, right?
Summer of 13, we
13?
released it in 14.
Okay.
And we didn't do much with it except kind of release it as an underground thing, and people seem
You can
to
get
like
it on your website. You can download it.
Yeah, you can get it on my website and at movietheking.com, and it's kind of about my life. The whole story
Yeah,
is
based on you go to 8 Mile to get some bums to buy
buy beer, and
Yep.
then all hell breaks loose. And it was based the first night I ever drove a car. I got in a high-speed chase and a DUI, and I crashed my car into a tree, and it was loosely based on the worst thing that could happen when you're 16, and it was based on me, you know.
Yeah.
And Spider with a Y was the real guy.
Spider with the Y was a real guy who used to hang out at Piccadilly on 8 Mile, and he would be like, all right, you guys, what do you want? You want like a couple six-packs, some liquor? Maybe you guys could just run a train on me? I'll bend over for you. And
like
we were
spiders.
like, no, dude, just the beer. That's cool. Like, we'll just take the beer. And he's like, you sure? Because I'll do stuff. Like, extra $5-10, man, I'll do it. We're
I'm
like,
not
no,
gay,
man.
but for $20,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be gay.
right. Exactly. And he was literally a dude who would offer you sex favors while also offering to go in and buy you beer. And I don't know if he was like a roadie at some point because he was just covered in rock tattoos. But yeah, he was a desperate man.
I like spiders. 3 rules. Don't get nothing in my eye. Don't get nothing in my hair. Sorry, no girls.
Yep, and I don't do girls. Those were Spider's 3 rules.
I just wanted to, before we switch topics, I want to say my favorite joke from the whole movie is when they're listening to the radio and then the newsman comes on and goes, "In another breaking news, bang, 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 2 murders and a rape."
For some reason, I think that might be my favorite joke too. And everybody who saw that movie, they're like, "That was you, wasn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah." I didn't read it, but I wrote it.
So you've made a bunch of appearances on Live at Gotham.
Yes.
Comedy Central.
Yeah, 1 on Comedy Central and then 3 on AXS.
AXS.
Yep.
Okay. And you know you can kind of see, and they're on your appearances themselves are on YouTube, so I would encourage you guys to check that out.
Yep.
But you know you can kind of see a little bit of evolution in your comedy.
Thank you.
You're starting out with you know just some straight up jokes, and you're going into some real life stories and stuff.
Mhm.
And I think in the last one you've changed your hair.
Yes,
Went
I
to
have a
Mohawk.
Is
I
this
got a
your
mohawk.
brand now? The Mohawk is
I
part of your
needed a brand.
needed
Yeah.
a brand.
Well, and my nephew was getting his hair cut, who's 7, and my wife was like, "You should do that 2 years ago," and I just did it, and it's stuck.
And it's stuck.
It just works.
And
It
it
just
works.
supposedly works. I dyed it black the other day.
It's hard
So
to
when
miss.
this all comes in white, it's going to be exciting.
Nice.
It's very nicely groomed too. It's not just all.
It's very well put together. It's wood glue, my friend.
Permanent hair.
Does your son like it? Does it freak him out?
No,
probably
he's
used to it by
He's so
now,
used
yeah.
to it too. And we were like, we watched stuff like Dexter when he was 6 months old that I realized I probably shouldn't have been sitting there
Things that are
watching
gonna
horror
affect-
movies and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Long-term
He's not
effects.
afraid of much, and I'm kind of worried.
Yeah, you hope he doesn't, you know, adopt some of the activities.
Yeah, exactly. Like start killing squirrels,
So
then I
used to
gotta
it,
train
yeah.
them.
Yeah. Taking trips out to the St. Clair to,
Oh yeah,
to
exactly.
sink squirrel bodies.
Oh, of course. I'll do it. Wrapping them up in plastic. Get them a boat.
So yeah, you tell a lot of your real life stories, which are
Yeah.
still as hilarious as your jokes.
Thank you.
One thing that you noted, you spent some time in a mental institution, right?
Yeah, that was on there. That was my 6th arrest, and
Well, you had a pretty wild. Was this in your teen before 19 or?
this before I was 20, I was arrested 12 times. And then my last arrest was in 2009 when I was 27, and that's when I got
Oh.
sober.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, that was, but I had a good gap there. I had a good run. And
Those are important.
though it's good to not get arrested, yeah.
Yeah.
No, when I was young, I was arrested 12 times, charged 6 times, then once later. And yeah, that was, yeah, that's just talking about.
Well, you're lucky to be alive. Weren't you doing like a beer bong with vodka?
Well, I was pretty drunk at a house party, and I tell the story. Yeah, I bonged a 5th of vodka.
Now
And
that
I was
should
already
kill a
like,
normal man.
it would kill a normal man. Fortunately, if I
Just
didn't
too
drink, I
stubborn
would
to die.
shake, so I was doing real well. Like I would have to
Oh,
drink,
wow.
like if I would eat rice, I would have to drink to steady my hands so it wouldn't fly all
Wow.
over. Like I was I was really bad. And I think I was about 10 beers in, and my friend was like, "Hey, Dave, you should bong a 5th," and I was like, "Yeah, I should." And then
Well, you must have went to the hospital though, right? Or you just woke up
no,
in a
I did not go to the
friend's
hospital.
house?
I woke up the next day in a broken glass table.
And,
Well, I was through the table.
Yeah.
And the cops the parents came home and were like, "There's a dead
Oh, so
kid
this
in
is
my
at his
house."
parents' house.
Yeah,
that you're doing.
And yeah, so they gave me an option, which was jail or rehab, and I chose rehab. And then there weren't rooms in the rehab, so I ended up being transferred to their sister hospital that was in fact a mental institution.
yeah.
I bet you have some crazy stories about that
I
place.
do. I'll be telling one on Comedy Central this summer, so I don't
Yeah,
want to go
so
too much
I would
into
hold
it.
off on
Spoiler
that. There's-
alert.
But
just know that there's hilarity to come on that,
yes,
on that topic.
yes. But yeah, I try to talk about my life and to help people out who are dealing with addiction and recovery because I am a recovering alcoholic and addict, and I like to put myself out there, and I do a lot of rehabs in hospitals now, and it's really fun to. It's like my way of kind of giving back, I guess, you know, for whatever. Or whatever.
Yeah, whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah,
Can't be
right?
that
Well,
bad.
not really. If I did whatever made me feel good, I would be dead.
Pretty opposite of his whole point. Boy, did I get that one wrong.
I have to, yeah, you never go into a rehab and go, hey guys, whatever makes you feel good. You know?
Anything, man. Do whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever. Anything goes.
it's fine. Enjoy the needles. Share. Save money. But yeah, that's and now that I know you're saying the evolution of my comedy, and that's sort of what I've been trying to do is go more and more into very much my real life and just talk about that and tell my stories, because I was kind of afraid before of judgment or putting it out there, and so many people have so many things that can relate to and have been in so many dark places that the darker I seem to go, the more and more people seem to find me, which I like.
Which is good. And
Yeah.
it's a little bit more sustainable, too. I mean, you could tell stories a little bit. Not having to write a joke from scratch is probably easier, right?
I think once you flex, you have to learn how to do one to do the other.
Sure.
Because a story should be filled with jokes,
Right.
jokes, and have a huge big
Yes.
ending, you know?
Yeah.
So I think really it is good to start in joke writing and learn how to do stand-up comedy before you.
Otherwise,
And-
you're just telling boring stories.
Yeah. Or it's like Colin Quinn said, you know, like when you think you found your voice after 7 years, wait another 3, then wait another 7. You know, like it's just sort of, you always should be evolving or you become stagnant.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, you got a couple albums out.
Yes.
Voodoo of Landau.
Voodoo of Landau, not my name,
Right.
but close.
And
Landau.
Down on Your Lucky Charms.
Down on Your Lucky Charms, yes.
Yes.
Named after a cereal joke. Back when I did a lot of clean comedy in the early 2000s.
Is it a clean joke?
It is a clean joke, yeah.
Okay.
Was that a
terrible-
phase you went through, the
I
clean
was
comedy
clean. Well,
phase?
I always heard be clean when you start.
Yeah.
So I
'Cause
would.
it's supposed to be tougher, so that's more of a challenge.
Well, you
to
get more
yourself.
gigs, so I would be able
Oh,
to like
okay.
open for like Stephen Wright and Coulier and the Doobie Brothers, and I would get a lot more gigs
Oh, wow,
that
you
way.
opened for Stephen Wright, eh?
I did open for Stephen Wright.
Wow,
it
that
was
must have
amazing.
been cool.
Yeah, he's
Must have been
weird.
awesome. He's
He's
a weird
so
guy.
funny, man. Yeah, like
He's almost as weird in real life as he is in his
Yeah,
comedy.
yeah. He came up to me. I go, how much time do you want me to do? He goes, 13 and a half minutes.
That's a pretty solid
Yeah,
Stephen
right,
Just
too.
very
It's really
Stephen
solid.
Wright. And then they gave him this huge green room, I remember, because this was like my hero, and I was like
What
21.
venue was this?
Yeah.
Meadowbrook Music.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
that's
really?
pretty big.
Yeah.
Sizable.
And yeah, they had a huge green room for him with party favors and everything. And he walked up to me. He's like, "You can have that. I want all the other dressing rooms." And it was just like 10 empty rooms.
That's well.
But he gave me all his stuff. Like he was really.
For him, almost anything he says sounds like a joke.
He's hilarious.
because
But
of
he
his
didn't have a
cadence and
big
his style.
entourage.
No, he was alone. He drove up in a Cadillac by himself.
Didn't
And
he
he
even
was
have a
driving,
driver?
he didn't
Yeah,
know what
no, and there was just like hats in the back, like various hats.
That's too
That's it.
strange to be fake.
No, it was
Just a
crazy.
bunch of hats?
It was literally, it was just a bunch of hats.
It was like his car. And
I'm not even sure if it was his car.
He just borrowed.
He may have brought the hats
car.
from the airport.
He just bought
But
bought him at Metro Airport.
yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, then I just watched him kill, and then I got to open for Chappelle, and I was doing a little
Oh,
bit.
wow.
And that was at the height of Chappelle, and I did 7,000 people with him in '04, and then a few more times. And I opened for him at the Fillmore a few years back, and he's my hero. So that was
Sure.
like that's still to this day one of the highlights of my career, because he's the Michael Jordan of comedy. Everything he does is a slam dunk, and he gets there in
Yeah.
the most interesting way.
And he's still there too. Like he's still selling out theaters and stuff. Like, he
Like
doesn't.
that. He's
yeah.
coming to the Fillmore again. He sold
Right.
out, it's like 6 shows in 3 days.
Yeah, he's not lost any of that heat even after canceling his show on his own.
Dude,
and
10 years to walk away and
Yeah.
come back to sold out venues
Yeah.
is
Yeah. It's
astonishing.
amazing.
But that's
Yeah.
how good he is.
yeah, amazing guy.
Yeah, didn't he do that one really long show where he's just eating lunch and the whole crowd is just going nuts?
Well, no, he did the one where he came out in Hartford and they booed him, and he sat there and looked at his watch until his 20 minutes were up, then he walked off stage.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
And yeah, Bill Burr famously did the Opie and Anthony tour, who Philly booed him, and then he just went off on how awful Philly is for a half an hour.
Was it Was he the headliner of the show? And
He
they
was.
booed him?
I do Kumia's show a lot, Anthony's, and like
Yeah, you
they,
did it right after you did our show the last time.
Yeah.
You're going to be there.
I'll be there on
in
Monday,
May.
actually,
Yeah.
back in New York on Monday doing his show, and yeah,
That's
like
not from the compound anymore, right? He's moved to the studio and.
well, no, he's in Midtown Manhattan.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not his house anymore, and it's not on Sirius XM anymore. Obviously, he was fired.
Right.
But
Well, doesn't
he's-
he have his own channel where you
yeah,
can
it's
subscribe to it?
yeah, compoundmedia.com, and it's amazing. He's the best host ever in radio.
Well, when you go on that show, what do you talk about your life, or do you have bits?
Yeah, we just rip on everything. That's the best part. Like I listened to Anthony for 10 years on the road. That was like my Tonight Show. That's all I ever
Yeah.
wanted to be
Yeah.
on. So when I finally did it, I was thrilled. And because I had listened to it almost every day for a decade, I kind of knew the rhythm, so we clicked right away. And you can say whatever you want, and it's amazing. So you just rip on everything.
That seemed like the funnest job. They just sit around and, BS with your friends.
Oh, and he's
Just
broke the
rip on
career
stuff.
of Jim Norton, Bill Burr,
Right.
Louis C.K. Like they've all had hands in blowing up those guys. And I mean,
Yeah.
largely Bill Burr's success is like what they call the Philly meltdown, where he just destroyed everyone for a half hour, So
I
it's
can't
like,
imagine going to the show where you're the headliner and they boo you. Like they paid to be there.
well,
right?
they booed everybody.
Yeah. That's
yeah,
just the Philly style.
and
right?
then I don't know. I mean, I've always had a good time in Philly, but like, though they have some crazy ass fans too.
Yeah.
So yeah, then you come out and
Well, when
Well,
you
even
have
the
a
sports
fanatic
fans.
as your symbol, then
right. Well, that's what he was ripping on, the fact that their symbol of hope is a fictitious character.
he's a fanatic.
But yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah. So, we're getting close to wrapping up here.
Okay.
What do you got coming up next? I know that you're going on Comedy Central. You said you got something in the
I
works.
am. I can't see the exact show, but I'll be announcing it this week on my Facebook and Twitter.
Oh,
Okay.
And yeah, I'm working on a one-man show just about my life, just stories and stuff like that. I'm trying to put it together of just something in the vicinity, or in the idea of 13 arrests, and then sort of string them all together.
Hey, there's your title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 13 arrests is appealing when people haven't been arrested 13 times, which I say is probably a lot of people.
Or as
Probably
you usually
not.
say, a baker's dozen.
A baker's dozen.
And DaveLandau.com.
DaveLandau.com, Dave.Landau on Facebook, DT Landau
And
on
Twitter.
Instagram.
Twitter's all ever
Landau
important, right?
Dave, Landau Dave is on Twitter.
Gotcha.
It's all about the number of followers, right?
Well, I have 12,000, so I hope not. But we'll find out.
Well, after you get this Comedy Crash Landing bump, you're probably going to have
Yeah.
like 12,005.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, look out, world.
We
I
call
hope
it
so.
we call it the bump.
Yeah, I
you
think
know?
I just hope Twitter goes away.
Yeah. Eventually. I mean,
I bet a lot of people did.
Just every day you have to come up with some stupid, and if it's a good joke, you're gonna keep it for your act. So
why
you're like,
waste it on Twitter?
yeah, you're like, this is the right
You just
amount
burnt
of
it.
stupid
Yeah.
but kind of funny that I'll tweet it. That's it. So I make videos now. Like
There
my
you go.
last video is just the Golden Girls theme, but my head is on B. Arthur's.
Yeah, I saw that one. You're the favorite Golden Girl.
I'm the favorite Golden Girl.
Yep.
Just bored. So it's something to put out there. You have to have constant content. So
Yep. Gotcha, man. Well, thanks very much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
thank you for having me.
It's been a blast.
Thank you.
And it's our last show, so we wanted to have the audience come out to the Saturday Night Live ending.
Come
all
on
the
out,
crew
guys.
members, all the crew. Come on, this is our. We did get picked up. We found out today
clap
we got picked
awkwardly
up
like
for next
SNL?
season. So
Okay.
appreciate you coming out.
Thanks, everybody, for showing up.
And remember, any landing you can walk away from is a good one. We'll see you next year.